Good morning, good morning, good morning. If you are watching this from the future, hello. I hope it's really lovely there. If you're watching this right now, hey y'all. Hey y'all. Um, Hi everybody. Uh, Good morning to everyone well, good evening. It's good evening for y'all. It's morning for me. It's 9 a.m. here. I'm in Hoi An, Vietnam, and I'm ashy, so I'm putting on lotion. Today we're talking about fresh starts, moving abroad, escapism versus creating a new life. We're talking all the things. So I'd love to hear your takes in the chat. But for now, hi. Hi. Um, and thanks for joining me at a special time. Good morning, Olayinka, Aileen, Brittany, Nichelle, everyone in the membership. Members, I owe y'all a little get together in Kiki. It's been a while since we've done that. But these time zones are crazy. And I wouldn't think you'd want to do this after because it'll be like 11 p.m. Eastern time. I don't know. Anyway, but hi. So, hey, Wanda, let's talk about fresh starts and what that looks like. If you're new here, hello. I'm Rashida. I am a career break coach and move abroad expert. I say that because I moved abroad antes de la pandemia. So I moved abroad before the pandemic. I have been abroad for years. I've been helping Black women move abroad through my organization, Exodus Summit, since 2000. I've been helping women take career breaks since 2019. So I'm 6 years in the game. And I am here in Hoi An with about 80 women from Exodus Summit, hanging out, eating, getting clothes made. I got this before, what I'm wearing now, before Hoi An. I got it in Siem Reap. It's supposed to be a dress, but I think it's a robe for me. I think it's a little see-through. Can y'all, ladies, can y'all leave your house in a dress that is only tied at the waist? Nothing else, but it's tied at the waist? Because I kept saying to them, this is not a dress, this is a robe. And they were like, no, it's a dress. And I'm like, if the only fastened spot is at the waist, something's going to be popping out in 2.3 seconds. And they were like, no, it's a dress. Number one, it's see-through. Number two, there are no closures except for the tie at the waist. Okay, so like let's be clear. You know how a wrap dress will have like a lot of them will have attached ties, or the attached ties will like the ties will go through a hole in the dress to kind of wrap it and keep that more secure. None of that. It's just one loose outside. You know how you be wearing them ties and sometimes they fall like in the bathrobe, sometimes it falls? That's what I'm talking about. No, it's what I'm wearing right now, Nichelle. I remember what I was wearing in Libria's video. No, I found out. This is a medium wrap dress. Listen, we're getting a little distracted. We'll get back to moving abroad in a second. If you came for that, skip ahead. I don't know the one. I can't tell you the one. Just skip ahead. We just talking at this point with my girls. And I'm fixing up my tea. Peppermint tea with mint leaves and ginger. Okay. I can wear a camisole underneath, but my hoo-ha is gonna pop out. That's la problema. It's also a silky fabric, so the tie isn't like, you know what I mean? Like there's no grip to it. Any hoodle. I went to the silk farm in Siem Reap, and I could put on a lot of things that were a medium. Okay. But up top, I'm a Cambodian extra large. And I was like, this is awkward. Because number one, they didn't have a lot of extra larges in anything, but also like that was where it wasn't like they had extra large. That was where sizes ended. What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? Yes, Michelle, it's a robe. It's this. It's silky. I'll stand up for y'all. I'm wearing pants. So I tied this 10 minutes ago. It's already coming apart. Stand on this chair. This is not a dress. Even and the shoulders hit, and I'm big. This is my biggest part. My shoulders and my thighs. This is the biggest part. So if it fits in the shoulders, it should fit me. That's not a going out in public dress. See what I mean? My hoo-ha would be everybody's hoo-ha. Any hoodle. I'm having a great time. I still have a question about whether I'm enjoying Vietnam more. I am, because all of the ladies are here, and like every day, every other day, I'm meeting up with them. I kind of say every other day because it's been raining here the past few days, and I don't need to go outside when it rains. I can, but I don't need to go outside when it rains. So last night we did a cocktail tour, went to 4 different bars and had really good drinks, but each one of them was a different alcohol. The night before, I went to dinner with Libri and we did a tasting menu, and we got, I want to say like if we got the 3 different sakes, that's 3 different drinks, then we may have got like 8 drinks. And besides the 3 sake flight, everything was a different alcohol. Why? We don't need to do this. We can all have one alcohol. Like, can we not have one alcohol every night? But the drinks last night were really good. It was just, child, what are we doing? Why are there so many different types? We started with a banana wine, a rice wine, but it had banana flavoring. And then, was it a vodka? I don't remember what the second one, alcohol. No, the second one had a rum, a Vietnamese rum that's made in Thailand. Or you can't buy in Vietnam, you have to buy it in Thailand. I don't know. Third one was tequila. And the fourth one was gin. How am I supposed to operate? How am I supposed to, I got up at 6:30 so I could be here on time. Okay, are we going? Some people are in Da Nang and having a great time in Da Nang. I went to Da Nang with the women in my coaching program from Route to Bliss. We met up in Da Nang for brunch a few days ago. What is time? And it was great. It was really fun. Da Nang is beautiful. Hoi An is nice. I'm on the beach in Hoi An, so it's really nice. It's nice to kind of be secluded from the town, a little far out. It's like 20 minutes, but it's not a walkable 20 minutes. Even if it was like, I could walk this in an hour. I could probably walk it in an hour, but it's not walkable. Da Nang has a beautiful beach. Beautiful. Beautiful. So I know some women who are here are going to go spend some time there. One of the women, I can't remember who it was. I also wouldn't out you like this. One of the women was coming back because she was like, Da Nang was so beautiful. Like at the end, she's adding, at the end of her Asia time, she's coming back here. So that's great. But we're talking about moving abroad, and it's 9 minutes into it. So why not get started? Oh, it probably does. Nisha, the hair. I washed it this morning, or I wet it this morning. Also, ignore that clip. You don't see that. You don't see that clip. I don't see that clip. We're delusional together. Anyhow, the blue is like a real bright blue right here, but the rest of it is like an ashen. I let a man in my hair, and I usually don't do that. And he may be Afro-Colombian, but he does not identify as Black. So if he don't identify as Black, I don't identify as Black. So I let a non-Black man in my hair, and look at this. A man, a non-Black person, and a man in my hair. Look at this. What is this color? What is this color? What's happening? Anyhow, life goes on. A man. Yes, Crystal, I have learned my lessons. But there are no Black women like with salons in Mexico City. So what shall I do? What shall I do? We're focused up. We're talking about moving abroad. Okay, so I was talking to Krishan last night in the lobby. We were having deep girl talk instead of going to our rooms and sleeping after our cocktail tour, after our 4 different liquors. And she said something about how a lot of Americans deal with things. A lot of Americans, no hyphen, deal with things by escaping, right? And so I wanted to talk to you guys about escapism and when that comes into play in your move abroad versus wanting something else. Pause. Nichelle, there are Black women doing hair, perhaps braiding. There are no Black women with hair salons that color hair. As far, I went to this little girl's house once. I'm not going back. I wouldn't trust her to color my hair. Back on topic. We're talking about fresh starts. And Eve, I sent someone your way the other day, and I can't remember who it was. I think I was in a coaching session in Exodus ASAP, and someone asked a question, and I was like, ask Eve. So if some random stranger hits you up and says, Rashida sent you, you know what that was. Good morning, Mom. Wanda Scott says, I blame Eat, Pray, Love on folks thinking travel is going to solve things. I think we romanticize the unknown, and sometimes don't focus up on like what life will be like. Like, I love my life in Mexico City. Ooh, internet is being not great. I love my life. I still got to pay my cable bill. I still got to pay my electricity. My electricity was cut off 2 months ago, and the electricity company couldn't tell me why. They were like, you don't owe us money. They literally were like, we didn't cut it off. You don't have electricity? That's not our problem because we didn't cut it off. And so I spent 5 days without electricity, which means no internet, none of my gas powered things worked. Like my hot water didn't work because I have a gas heater, but it's got an electric little lighter thing. Now I got to go down there and cry in Spanish because what's happening? What do you mean? What do you mean we can't help you? Goodbye. What do you mean? What do you mean? Right? Like it's a great life, but what we ain't got no electricity. No one can tell you why. It's a little what do you No, I really listen. That lady was I gave her my best Spanish. I was working with her, we were working with her. We were doing it together. And then finally, like I kept pushing and she gave me pretty much the administrative close the book, we're done here. And that's when I was like, en español. Cause like I don't have power, so we're not done here. I don't have power, and you can't tell me why you have power, except it's none of y'all business. But I pay you for power, and I don't have it. Any hoodle, yes, cry in Spanish. What are we doing? So yeah, so life can feel like you hear people living their lives, and it could sound really great, but I don't know that we always prepare ourselves for like the hard parts. Um, and the hard parts are gonna be different for all of us. Sometimes people say, "How come you didn't tell me about?" And I'm like, "Oh, I never did that. I never dealt with that. I dealt with some other stuff. I didn't deal with the problem you're having, so I couldn't tell you about the problem you're having because who would have expected that?" Someone I know told me their stove exploded, and I was like, "Wow, how would I could not warn you about a stove exploding because, girl, what? What are you?" My internet's playing games. I don't know why. Okay. So I got the lights back on because the building I live in said it's the electric company that's turned them off. The electric company was like, we did not turn it off, but we pressed the button for it. The electric both they were both pointing fingers, and I put them on the phone with each other, and then 3 days later, after putting them on the phone with each other multiple times every day, they fixed it. There was a problem with something. There was a problem that was not inside of my apartment and impacted absolutely nobody else. And so everyone was like, "It's not. We didn't do anything. We didn't do anything. We didn't." Do anything. So getting them on, like the head guy, maintenance guy in my building was really kind, and like he called for me multiple times. Um, and otherwise, I wouldn't. If it was up to me, I would still not have power. I would have had to leave that apartment, just move somewhere else because everybody was like, "It's not on me. I ain't got I ain't got nothing to do with it. You not having power is not my problem." Cries in Spanish. But yeah, things happen. We don't always talk about the things that happen. I couldn't have talked to you about not having electricity when I didn't have electricity because I was going through it. Like I needed some distance from that for it to be funny to me. When it was happening, it was not funny to me. It went off while I was on vacation and I came back and I don't know how long it was off. And so I was like, if it goes back on, but like my freezer is still frozen. If it goes back on tomorrow, it might be good. It didn't go back on for 5 days. Everything, my fridge and freezer had to get thrown out. The kombucha in my fridge, by the time I got back, it had exploded. Because kombucha does not do well when it's not refrigerated. I needed some time for this to be funny. It wasn't funny at the time. It could happen in the US. In the US, I could negotiate that in English. In the US, I could have been much more forceful in English. I wouldn't be on the phone crying. I'd be on the phone, like negotiating, like, what are we going to do? How are we going to solve this? In Spanish, I don't have the words for electric, like those. I don't have the fix it now words in Spanish. I have tears. I'm multilingual here, a polyglot. No, seriously, like she was about to be like, get out of here. And I was like, mm-mm. I started crying and she was like, I'll go talk to my manager. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Oh, okay. Nisha says, I think better life depends on what part of your life you're comparing. This is my 10th year anniversary living in South Korea, and I have always felt safe seen as an individual or not. Nisha, are you at work right now? Shh. Are you? So let's talk about, yes, activate Southern Damsel. I'm not, what, I can't. Mm-mm. All right. So how do you know what you're doing? Are you trying to escape? Which I don't think it's problematic, right? I don't think escapism is the core of the problem, if that's what you're doing. Oh, we're gonna get your business renewed. Yes, good for you. Uh, I don't escapism without context. I don't think that's a problem because America is one of them shithole countries I heard about a while ago. Please. It is what is happening. Every day is so many things. Hey, y'all government employees, did you write that email saying what you did last week? Did you do it? I know I have some government employees watching right now. Did y'all do that? Because what America, I've never seen it in your memories. Have you ever seen someone you know, someone you saw at work, someone you've seen in the world? Have you ever seen someone alienate large groups of people so quickly? Whole countries. Have you ever seen this speed of decay, decline, and alienation anywhere in your memory? Child, I haven't. So yes, there's no escaping isn't the problem, right? And I don't necessarily know about this is a problem. I just want to talk about this with you today. Whole continents. Whole continents. I know people think smart people are at the helm. I know people think that. But I ain't never seen this much dumbness at once. Like, the reason America generally is a physically safe location are the oceans, Canada and Mexico. We got a lot of buffers. Nobody can just cross over a border and get to us because Canada and Mexico would not allow that. Canada and Mexico aren't like, yeah, bring your troops and come through here and go get them. And yet, we're pissing off the people that keep us safe. Okay, hey, Simone. Literally, we have not been invaded because you got to come by sea, by land, come by air too. So all that to say, escaping, especially if you're in America, isn't a terrible idea, but where is it that we need to be strategic with how we're escaping, right? You need to be strategic about how you're escaping, what you're bringing with you, and what you're not bringing with you. CK says, I can't escape via fear. I have to choose to go on my own terms. Otherwise, my stress levels won't be right. This is CK. This is your thought today. And I'm not saying your thought is going to change. I'm going to say that for some people are going to have to escape because their fear is going to be, the things they fear are going to be actualized. Right? There are going to be people who have to escape. Their fear is going to be what pushes them to actually escape. Because I'm not saying the ovens are coming, but I am saying it's going to be a lot more incarceration. It's going to be a lot more slave labor. It's going to be a lot of things. It's going to be a lot more retraining camps, et cetera, et cetera. There are going to be people who who will not be safe in that country. And it's happening quickly. So for me, there's no judgment about escaping. But if you get to the point where you're doing it before you have to, you'll have more options and probably a better plan. And that's what we're talking about. We're just talking. The idea of escaping has some negative connotations. And I tell you, there's always some hotep in my comments talking about we need to stay and fight. you need to do what's right for you. That is for you ladies watching now. That's for the hoteps who are going to show up in the comments later on. That's for that one man who I will never forget who said we're all need to be in this foxhole together. No, right? We all need to do what's right for us. We all need to, if you need to leave, that's what you need to do. But how do we get our plan in place so that we're leaving before we have to leave, right? I want you to leave when if you want to leave, I want you to leave when you want to leave. I don't want you to leave when you have to leave. Cause All right, so Miss AA is applying for her Portuguese visa this summer. Eve says, do a small amount of planning. Plan in advance. Get ready so you don't have what? Get ready. Get ready. Do it now. Okay. Oh, Kayla, you want to escape with your 6-month-old baby, I think? What's holding you back? Like, I know there's a baby, and so there's a lot to think about, but is it the other parent? Is it your, like, because people have babies everywhere, right? So if it's just, I don't want to move abroad with a baby, having a baby in a country that focuses on community is so much easier than having a baby in a country that focuses on individualism, right? It is so much easier to raise a child, or so I've heard. I don't have no kids, so what? But it's so much easier to raise a child when you're in community with other people who are used to working in community. 6 months old, yes. Planning marriage here and have a wedding. Child, I would never tell you what to do because I don't know you. I don't know your life. But wedding money could be spent on flight money. Britt makes a good point. There's a rise worldwide with right-wing politicians, so everyone needs to be aware of where they're going and what's happening politically in other countries. There is, but I think in a lot of countries, we see a lot of pushback and like shunning that you don't see in America, right? A lot of countries are like, no, you're Nazis, and we're going to treat you like Nazis. And in America, we're like, you're great. I mean, we're not, that's great, right? Because I'm not saying that those other countries don't have racism. I'm saying that there are countries in the world where their founding principles, where the whole point of the entire history of the country isn't racism and subjugating other people. Not everywhere in the world, but there are places in the world that haven't needed Black to have a foot on Black people's necks in order to survive, in order for a country to survive. America is not that place. America has always needed Black people to be at the bottom in order for America in its multiple forms to exist. And that's how they're going to make America great again. Black jobs. So yes, the right-wing politics are popping up hard everywhere. But I feel like America's like, no, we're going to win this race. We're winning the race to the camps, to the internment camps. Y'all, what's gonna happen? Like, where are trans people going to be a year from now? Right? How safe, how physically safe are they going to be in America? So unless I see your question, it's a very deep ask. Why do you think it is that Jewish people have been conspicuously silent with this uprising of Nazism? There's a lot of pointing to it. I don't see silence on that front until the Nazi's a billionaire. But why? I don't have a why. Did Claudia change the rules for Americans coming to Mexico? When I was leaving Mexico to go to Seoul, I was going to Korea. So end of January. I realized something's different in the airport. They were doing a lot more passport checks. I think they were looking for people, maybe Americans, who overstayed their visa and were in the country illegally. But I've heard what I've heard is that Americans will need a visa to go to Mexico. I keep hearing that repeated on the internet. But you've always needed the equivalent of a visa to go to Mexico. It's just kind of like done behind the scenes. Like you go there, you scan, you get a piece of paper, right? And that's your like visa. As far as my understanding goes, nothing's changed in that. But people are on the internet saying things have happened, right? People say things for clicks on the internet. I have no one in all of the, and I haven't been there, and I don't come in the way other people come in because I'm a resident, but I haven't heard anyone say these are new requirements. No one besides people making TikToks saying these are new requirements. All right. Yeah, JT says she keeps hearing it too, but she's not seeing it on the website. It's the you need a visa to go to Mexico. And I'm like, you've always needed. They don't call it a visa. It's an FMM. It's like a migration form. Nothing's changed. But for clicks, people will say anything. Penny, I do not think the uprising in Israel is a distraction to take away from change. I don't think so. I think that's been an untenable situation since before we were born. Right? Like, I don't think that is. I think it only has to do with America as much as America inserts itself in the situation. Right? I think that's what I see. It's not our business until we Bigfoot over there, and then it's there. Oh, wait. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to put this on the screen, but your old teammate got married yesterday down there and didn't hear anything from him but left today. Okay, yeah, there's no. I didn't mean to put all your bad words on the screen, Jay. Potty mouth. Okay, yes, this makes El Paso. So I don't understand what's happening, Michelle. And you said you experienced a passport check and ID check at the gate when leaving El Paso, Texas to DC. They checked your passport for a domestic trip? Tell us more. Okay, back to escapism, back to reality. I think when you're planning something like this, you really need to be conscientious about what you want your new life to look like, right? As much as it's easier instead of part of getting ready. I'll say it like this. Part of getting ready is envisioning your new life and what you want it to look like, right? So that you can make moves towards what you want. So you'll be, if you ever feel like you've got to press the go button and actually escape, you are more prepared. You have a better plan. You know what you want and what you don't want. What you don't want from your move is often more important than what you actually want, right? Like when we're narrowing things down, there are a lot of things we want. And it's really, if we just narrow what we like you like a million things. And behold, you'll love like half the world, but you can't you can't live in half the world, not at the same time, right? So a lot of that is going to be, what is it that you don't want, right? What is it that you don't want? And narrowing down and getting away from those things. So yeah. So we're going to work on what you want. One of the things I always tell people is to think about, like, just close our eyes and think about 5 things you want in a city that you move to and 5 things you don't want. Let's do that together, y'all. Let's do that together. So 5 things you want. Write down a couple things you want in the city you want to move to and a couple things you don't want in the chat. Let me know. Let me know. I love a walkable city. I love very temperate weather. I don't want to be cold. I don't want to be hot. This trip reminded, like, my hair felt so good yesterday with the humidity, but my skin is like, bring me back to 75 degrees, please. All the sweating you're doing, my skin hates it. I'm breaking out every day. A new giant pimple every day. My skin does not like it. My hair loves it. My skin does not. And so, yes, bring me back to Mexico City, where we might have a 20-degree difference from winter to summer, right? Please. Here, it was 100 degrees in Cambodia almost every day I was there. Okay, Monique Mills says, I don't want to leave the rich and healthy community I built in the US to go somewhere and feel isolated. So one of the things you want when you leave is community? I would put that on the list. I put that on the list. Okay. Brittany says, I have a friend working on returning to South Korea to teach. I think this is maybe a conversation with Nisha. Brittany, what are you working on? Okay, Wanda wants coastal arts communities, walkable, mild temp, and reasonable African descendant population. Okay. Sabbatical starts Monday, wants weather, infrastructure, English friendly, affordable community. Okay. Michelle wants walkable, warm weather, Sierra Ocean in walking distance. Y'all really want beach. And I'm like, I look at it from inside the air conditioned room. Thank you. Thank you. The ocean is beautiful out there. Also, our ocean, that ocean, I don't know what that is out there. I don't know what body of, I should look it up. What body of water is that? I don't know, but she ain't no punk. Those waves, those waves. Those waves are just banging against the shore. It's the East Vietnam Sea, is what it says out here. East Vietnam. I didn't know there was an East Vietnam Sea. But what do I know? Those waves, the first few days we got here, we saw fishing boats out there. It was nice and sunny. Fishing boats there. I haven't seen a fishing boat since. The people who work the water daily are not on the water. That's what those waves are doing. The professionals who do this not just for fun, but for a living are at home or doing something else. They have not been on the water in days. Professionals said this water's today, I'm gonna take a break. So as for me and my body, we have not been in that water. Mm-mm, mm-mm, no. Mm-mm. Oh, so I might post a photo of them on the channel. I don't want to open that door now. Maybe I will before we go. Remind me before we go. I'll get up. I can't be getting up and getting down like this, y'all. My bones are old bones. It may not look, you might not think, you might not believe me. Old bones. Okay, wait, I lost my sandal. Okay. Viennese style synthetic quiz on exit summits, and the results of my best city country is Johannesburg, South Africa. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, girl. You gotta explore the world. You gotta explore the world. I don't know. The quiz isn't foolproof. Someone I know took the quiz and said Johannesburg, but they really loved Cape Town, right? They're like, I want to go to Cape Town. Okay, CK, we're gonna chill for a second. I'm gonna tell you. We're gonna talk about this fear, and we're gonna talk about how to process the fear. CC says the East Vietnam Sea is part of the Pacific Ocean. This ain't no Pacific Ocean I've ever seen. This is not the same Pacific Ocean that hits LA. It's this East Vietnam Sea water. You would never see people at LA beaches if the water was doing what it's doing right now. Ever. You would never see people there. Even on the calm days, we were like, that's not really going in water. That's looking at water. Anyhow, CK says, I just had a frightening thought. What if I get stuck in PT on a tourist visa in June when the US, America, and if America implodes in my absence? I'm now afraid. I think for most countries in the world, most, not all, most countries in the world are very generous with people who are in trouble or in a precarious situation that is not their own, right? Most countries. If you were in Portugal and could not get back to the US because the US was no longer a country or whatever, I don't know, civil war, I don't know, it's not gonna happen because ain't nobody rising up. Even if Portugal was like, you ain't got to go home. No, even if they told you to leave, there's a country in Europe who would let you come, right? People know that like this is a thing that happens. Like it's not a new, like the idea of getting stuck in a country because you can't go home to your country it would not be the first time it happened in the world. And countries generally know that if they tell you to get out, you have nowhere to go. And then you can't just be like on a boat out at sea, right? So I'm not saying that it's never ever going to happen. You're going to go somewhere and you can't get in. The pandemic happened and people were in countries and they couldn't get in. But you didn't really hear, I don't know, did you guys hear? I didn't hear people being in a country and then being like, you foreigner need to leave the country now, right? In Mexico, they started doing more of the regularization program so that the people who were there longer than their visa allowed were no longer on an expired visa. They now had they made them permanent, or yes, they gave them 4 years of temporary residency, right? That was the solution. Not like you got your visa's over, you need to your time in the country has ended, you need to leave. It was, okay, how do we just give you residency so we ain't got to worry about this, right? Other countries, like America is the baddie when it comes to foreigners in their land. Some other countries aren't that great too. But I don't think you need to worry about what's going to happen. I don't think America's going to implode in June. I don't think I think June is a little too soon for the implosion. But I also don't think that, I think you may be in a tough spot, but not an impossible spot, right? Don't let that be. Don't let fear stop you from going to another place. Oh, formerly known as the South China Sea. Now, China and Vietnam, they can't agree on the maps, can't they? But that's not my business. I like to focus on my business. Maybe your business. I do focus on y'all's business too. But China business, Vietnam business, not my business. Oh, I was saying I was watching a movie that mentioned the South China Sea the other day, but it was Olympus Has Fallen. One of the movies you can sleep through where they're just like shooting a bad guy and then talking and then doing some else stuff and whatever. I think it was that. They mentioned the South China Sea. Yes. All right. Someone mentioned the Thailand visa. Pinky mentioned Thailand's looking better and better. Can apply for a visa online too. We have someone coming to Exodus ASAP, Stephanie, and my Move Abroad program for Black women membership coming next month to talk about how she got the DTV visa in Thailand. I think that's the one. So if you want to know how she did it, come to the membership. The link to join is in the comments. And if Stephanie's still here, she's going to drop it right now because she is an expert at dropping links. She's a very smart, beautiful woman. I don't know if you knew that. Very smart, very beautiful. Very link droppy. Okay, let's see. Wanda Bryant says, what I don't want is to be surrounded by tourists, apartment up a steep hill, walk up apartment, lack of air conditioner, heat, and children living above my head. That sounds like Lisbon to me. I'm so sorry. I don't know if that's what you meant. Except for the children living above my head. I don't want children or dogs above my head. Because when that dog gets the zoomies, chill. Chill. Make your dog go to sleep. Okay, JG says, I just want something different that America can't give me. JG, what do you want? I don't know if we've ever talked about this. What do you want? Tell me everything. Penny, ooh, I like this. 65 to 75 degrees. Safe to walk at night from people and animals. Air conditioning and hot water. Good air to breathe. Friendly people. Decent cost of living. Yes. That's not too much for ask for. Okay. Michelle Shelby says, I do have a lot of fear. I can't lie. That's normal. Fear is normal. If you're thinking about leaving everything you've ever known and everyone you've ever known behind to go somewhere new, if you didn't have some fear, I would be like, she's a monster. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But no, fear is normal. Like there's gonna be some fear. You're doing a new thing. Fear is normal. She's a monster. I'm afraid to leave with no job, but I can't continue to stay and be unhappy. This is really complicated, LH, and so I can't really address it all right now without being all in your business. But what I often recommend people do is figure out how much money they actually need each month to survive in the new place they're going. What is the budget you actually need? What is the money you have, either coming in or saved? And what's the difference, right? And is it that you need a job or you need an extra $200 a month, right? Is it you need a job or you need to accept that you have enough money to live a life you want to live? And it's just a hard thing to do because that's not what we're told to do in America, right? What is it that you actually need? And if you don't already know the budget you need to set up for the place you're going, you'll never know how much you need. And so that fear is not going to go away. The fear does not go away until you do the math. How much money you have, how much money you will have, how much money you actually need. Until you do that math, you'll always be afraid. When you do the math, then it's like you can take action, right? Because a lot of women who move abroad don't need a job. They need a bit of cushion. And maybe there's something you can do a couple hours a week to get that bit of a cushion. Or they need to decrease their budget a little bit. I was talking to, I'm going to say her name. I was talking to Tina, who's my coaching program for Brand Bliss. Hi, Tina. And she was laughing because she went to coaching one day and she was talking about money, how she was scared and she was moving away, was so far away from her because she didn't have enough money for her for her monthly budget. She didn't have enough money each month to make what she needed. And I was like, how much do you need? And she said $4,000 a month. And I was like, apparently she said I asked her questions, and when I just kept asking her questions and I just looked at her, and she didn't realize it at the time, but later on she was like, oh, yeah, Rashida was telling me I didn't need $4,000. No, your budget was just delusion. Like she was budgeting based on fear, right? She was scared. And so she built a budget with all this cushion, budget for where she was going in life she wants to live, with all this cushion because she was afraid. And because she built the budget with all this cushion, her fear got her to chill for a while, because if you don't have $4,000 a month, you can't leave, right? For her personally, that was how she felt. If I don't have $4,000, I can't leave. And I don't have $4,000. Where did the $4,000 come from? Your fear. It was just one big loop. It was just one big loop. She wasn't doing the math. She was and even if she did the math, she was doing the math from a place of fear. And so her fear led her to write on her paper, I need $4,000 a month for my budget. And now her fear is winning because her fear is driving that number. She can't leave until she can get to a place where she has $4,000 a month coming in, when she could probably have left when she had $2,000 a month. In fact, she just quit her job. Tina just quit her job. If I wasn't supposed to say that, Tina, I'm so sorry, but I did. So what you gonna do? Because she had, like, when she was like, oh, that was just delusion and fear guiding me. Let's get back to reality and do some real math. She was like, oh, I'm ready to go. Right? So do you need a job? Do you need to move somewhere where your budget can be lower? Some people are going to need a job. I'm not saying you don't need a job. I'm saying some people are going to need a job, but a lot of people who don't need jobs cannot let go of the idea of working. The idea of a paycheck not coming in is the scariest thing in the world. This like a regular paycheck not coming in, who would live like that, right? But you could. I don't know about you specifically, LH, but a lot of you can live without a paycheck coming in because you've either saved enough or you have maybe a pension or something else where you're getting regular money coming in, and your regular money can cover all your bills. Someone in my life, I won't say who, asked me for money, but I know their pensions cover all their expenses because they moved to an affordable place. And so I was like, why do you need a regular influx of cash from me when the money you have coming every month covers your bills? Maybe it's because they wanted to travel a lot, and they wanted to travel a lot in business class. And so I was supposed to fund that because they had money for what they needed. They wanted my money for what they wanted. And that is the kind of delusion you can have. I am so proud, but you got to have it with somebody else, right? What is your budget and what do you need money for? What do you need money for? If it's for business class seats, I'm so proud of you. Upgrade that life. Just do it over there with somebody else and not in my pocket. How much money do you need? That's the core of that. Eve says, even when I overstayed my visa in France after the Olympics, they were still much kinder to me than they had to be. Yes. Now, we're not saying overstaying, because Overstaying can lead to deportation. And if you get deported from a country, every time you have to apply for a visa, they're going to ask, right? When you have to apply for a visa for a country, they usually ask, have you been deported from another country? You want to apply for residency somewhere, they're probably going to ask, have you been deported? You don't want to let deportation be like the very last stop. We're not saying overstay in these countries. We're saying go. If you legitimately get stuck, like there were people, a lot of Americans in China when COVID first happened, like the very first wave. And a lot of the response in the very first wave was to shut down flights to China. Well, now if you shut down flights in, then there are no flights out. So I'm just stuck. China's probably not going to put you in immigration jail if there are no flights out. Probably not. I don't know. But probably not, right? Like they're probably going to be like, we get it, but you got to go soon. Like first thing smoking, you got to go. But they're not going to be like, you have over because there's no flights. There were no flights. What do you want me to do? Cross the border on foot? To where? Big old country. Anyhow, Ella says, I know I'm not going to be able to make a move for at least a year and a half. And the way things are going, everything will get tighter in other countries in that amount of time. I don't think you're wrong. I don't know about the first part. You're not going to make a move for a year and a half. I don't know your business. I don't know that. The second half, I think everything will be tighter in most countries is accurate. I think you're right. I think Americans moving abroad is going to get harder. And that's why I want you to do it now. If you want to get residency somewhere, start now. Today. Don't wait. Don't wait. Start it now because it's going to get harder. It's going to get more expensive. More Americans are going to want to go, and you got to you need to take care. If you're watching this channel, you've probably been thinking about this for a while. It's your cue to go now. Yeah. March is just scroll down to the comment. My beautiful assistant left. March is residency month. Join Exodus ASAP and get move abroad coaching from the Exodus Summit team. We're also having guests come in to talk about the different visas they've gotten around the world. Some of the challenging ones. Someone who's applying for the Indonesian visa. Someone for the Thai visa. What else do we have lined up? Oh, Stephanie just talked to Aisha last night. Just going to talk to us a little bit about Belize. Stephanie is going to be doing her temporary residency through regularization in live. Like she's going to be reporting back to the group. She's doing it with a group of people in the membership. They're all going down together. It'll take about 10 days to get it done. And they're going to be posting about their experience and maybe making some videos. Am I volunteering Stephanie for some videos in maybe a diary, a video diary is how I imagine it. I don't know. A video diary of what happens as the days go by. But this is going to be in the membership and in the membership alone, at least for now. And I'm going to be working, I don't think I've said this yet. I'm going to be working on transitioning my temporary residency in Mexico to a permanent residency in Mexico. That's part of my March plan. And I'm going to be working on getting my British passport. If I was bolder and I had more time to do math stuff, papers, I would work on either getting my Antiguan or Jamaican citizenship. Yes, citizenship too, but 2 things is enough for 1 month. We don't need to do too much. We don't need that. Okay, but we're working because we're doing this now because we know you need to start now. You don't need to wait a year and a half. It's residency month. Everyone who is in the group who wants residency, we're going to be on you. What are you doing? Let's get this. Let's do this, right? We want that. Listen. Let's see. Olinka says she has no fear. She's a monster. Olinka, I know you have some fears. I know you do. I know you, girl. You do. Let's see. Christine R says, I have an appointment with the Mexican consulate in April, but I'm afraid I won't meet the financial requirements. They will reject me. If you meet the financial requirements on like the number on paper, it's unlikely that they will reject you because the number isn't right. But have they been rejecting people for silly reasons? Yes, they've been rejecting people lately because I've never been to Mexico before, which isn't necessarily a silly reason, but it's not an actual requirement, right? So they're rejecting people for reasons that aren't actual requirements. And that's what I mean by it getting harder. Brittany says she did the math and it changed everything. I still don't know what it changed, Brittany. Y'all's little friend Vera shows up here whenever she feels like it. And she says some stuff that makes me want to fight. I really just want to shake her. So I see a comment from VAM Experience. I'm like, that can't be the same Vera. I know. Because that's great. Vera come up here saying any old thing. Like, I can't see it. Vera said, so ready to go. Just getting this money right. Try to be debt free so I don't have to worry about it over there. Peace is priceless. Vera moved to Panama like a year ago. And she is in the very unpeaceful US still. Are you still in the US? Child, go back home. Go back to Panama. Stop working. I know you want to be debt free. I get it. Like, I get the motivation. Go back to Panama, girl. What are you doing? Let's see. Okay, Brittany says, I found several places that I could live in on a third of what I thought I needed to be planning for. Doing the math makes a difference. Doing the math makes a huge difference. It's so windy right now. I don't know if you can hear, but it's so windy right now. The sliding glass door is like shaking. I'll show you all the water in a minute. Since Social Security is pretty much gone, I will need to secure a second pension before I retire for good. It will replace my Social Security cushion. I'm still not convinced that Social Security is gone. I am convinced that if them people could suck all the Social Security money directly into their pockets, they will. I'm just not 100% yet that it's gone. I know this ain't who I think it is. I know, I'm looking at the photo. I know that ain't who I think it is. Girl. Hi, friend. I need a country that's cold or 48 degrees, safe to walk at night, stable electrical grid, no water crisis, affordable health care, and good quality of living. I'm so mad at you because I ain't heard from you in a long time. And I don't like being abandoned by my friends. Wanda says, I've been a nomad since July 2022. I have a business that I love and I also need a job. Yeah, some of you are going to need jobs. Yes, need income. Some of you are going to need income. Some of you don't need income and you just don't know it yet. You just don't know it yet. Not your neurotypical millennial. Is that Aisha? I didn't block you yet, girl. Who else could that? I think that is Aisha. And now that I understand what you're saying, I should fund. I know that is Aisha. Girl. Aisha and Kyoko should not be friends. Stop it. Get out the chat. The children are in the chat acting up. acting up. Oh, Eve says, yeah, I hired a lawyer and everything, but France was kind of because it was only 10 days, but I was sweating bullets. The lawyer said I would be fine because I was American. Oh yeah, a lot of what I'm saying applies if you're traveling on an American passport. If you're traveling on a passport that is at its core considered real ethnic, like if when you travel to your passport country, you got to go to that other terminal in the airport. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. If you got to go to that other terminal in the airport when you go to your home country, this conversation may not apply to you. Big parts of this conversation may not apply because if you overstay at all for any reason, you might be in trouble. But the American passport does give us those of us that have it, a little bit more freedom, which isn't fair and it's not right, but it's the world we live in. And I think as a Black woman, if there's any kind of benefit, preference you can get, I never want you to be ashamed of that. I never want you to be ashamed of that. If you get treated better because you have an American passport, you deserve because of what you've had to go through to have an American passport, which technically is just being born in America, right? But along the years, you've been through some things. Okay. Okay. If not your neurotypical millennial, isn't Aisha? No, it is Aisha. I think, who could it be? I don't know. Stephanie says, come through. Come through. Pinky says, difficulty finding affordable housing for my budget is the only reason I'm still here. Things get snapped up so fast, so I've had to pivot, and that's okay. I always have a couple backup plans. It may be the city you're choosing, right? The popular cities. In fact, I love y'all. Oh, you're trying to get to Portugal? Yeah. The affordable things are going to get snapped up in most cities. LS says, do you have to join Facebook in order to join Exodus? We have a free Exodus community, Exodus Summit group on Facebook, but the Exodus ASAP membership is not on Facebook because we're trying to transition away from Facebook because it does not serve us. So that's LS's question. The paid membership is on a different platform. It is not, there's no part of it that's on Facebook, but the free community is still on Facebook. We will move it from Facebook in the future, but not today. Why y'all treat me like this? I am encouraging people to go be great. And you, well, now Rhonda gonna make me talk about her. Rhonda is the queen of, I don't pay for housing because my house sit is 64 years long. Rhonda is leaving us early from our Vietnam meetup because she's going to a 3-month house sit. Imagine how much cheaper, imagine how much cheaper your life would be if you didn't pay for housing. She was on a couple different house sits in New Zealand for, I want to say, at least 2 months, not paying for housing there. She went on a 1-year house sit. She lived in Texas. I'm putting all your business in the streets. I'm sorry, girl. But I feel like this is okay. She lives in Texas. She was living in Texas. She got a 1-year house sit in Texas. So she gave up her place. A year. Imagine how much cheaper your life would be if somebody else took care of the housing. You want to learn about house sitting? Check out Stephanie Perry and her house sitting resources. Rhonda don't pay for housing no more. She's like, oh, I have to go. I'm going to a house sit. And I was like, don't go. Just skip the house sit. She was like, it's 3 months. I was like, okay, bye. Okay, I get it. Kyoka says, give him a say of things you recommend paying off debt or just saving to get out. I feel like with the way you worded that question, you answered your own question. So I don't know if you just wanted me to say this to other people. I'm going to ask the group, what do y'all think? Pay off, if you only have X amount of dollars to play with and you can't split them, are you paying off debt or are you saving to get out? Let me know. When y'all write comments here, unless I've already blocked you, I can see you. And I might block you for writing comments. Snapping at Vera? I was very kind. I am pushing Vera to greatness. Greatness. Okay, Olean asked a great question about Mexico, getting residency in Mexico. Why does going across a physical border make regularization quicker? In order to, if you do not understand what I'm talking about, you can just tune out. Sing the Jeopardy song, do whatever you're doing. This is for people who understand regularization in Mexico. I can't go into all the background. It's really long. So I'm going to answer this specific question. Regularization in Mexico requires that you are in the country longer than the visa, not really a visa, but the visa you got when entering, you have to overstay your visa, right? You have to overstay your visa and be irregular in the country to get residency by regularization. If you enter by air, there's a very, very good chance you're going to get 180 days. So you have to stay in the country 180 days. If you enter by land and you tell them when you're entering by land, you're only going to be there for 5 days, they might give you 7 days. They're not going to give you 180 days. It's rare, right? They're going to ask you how long, or you can tell them. If they don't ask you, tell them, I'm only going to be here for 3 days. Boom. On day 4, you've overstayed your visa. By air, a lot of airports have the new machines. My very first trip to Mexico, they had these machines, and then they took them out. My very first trip to Mexico City, they have those automatic entry gates. So you just scan your passport, and they shoot out a number of days. And when you go through the passport machine, it's almost always 180 days. So you have to be here for 6 months to overstay. If you cross by land, they're not doing that. So we'll be going over e-residency and the nuances of that option in the March group. I don't know what you mean by e-residency. Ask that in another way. Use more words. My brain isn't clickety-clacking with what you're talking about, Kim. Am I missing e-residency? I don't know. American Doll, work at McDonald's part-time in another country. This is not the answer you want to choose, y'all. I think this is coming from a really great place, American Doll, but the minimum wage in Mexico is $10 a day, maybe $12. We may have gone up to $12 a day. A day. And your day is likely 12 to 16 hours long. And most people won't get a work visa. Because in order to get a work visa, you have to be doing work that people in the country, almost everywhere around the world, in order to get a work visa, you need to be doing work that people in the country can't do, right? If you're coming down to get a job. If you have permanent residency, that's not usually a problem. But if you have temporary residency, you usually aren't getting a work visa. I got a work visa, but I think that my immigration file has to be just cluster F after cluster F, because every time I went there, something that wasn't supposed to happen happened. And on my last trip, they gave me a work visa. It says on my card I have a work visa. Does it say it in the system? I don't know. And I'm never going to get caught up working when I'm not supposed to be working. Now that would lead to deportation or a fine or something. So most places that have good low cost of living also have low wages. and you don't just get to get a job. And don't be in these countries working illegally. You don't want to get deported. I promise you. Mm-mm. I can see you, Aisha. You about to get blocked, girl. Oh, yes. Nisha says, don't forget to like. Press the like button. Give it a thumbs up. Turn on notifications. What else do YouTubers say? Turn on the notification bell so you know when I'm going live again. Give it a thumbs up. Truly, in my world, I also value a thumbs down. I'm not lying to you. If you watch this and you were like, I hope I never see this woman talk again. She's just talking in circles. She's talking about the dress. She's talking about the tea. She's talking about the South China Sea now, and whatever. I promise you, my feelings will not be hurt if you give it a thumbs down, so that YouTube never has to send you my content again. I want that for us both. But if you like it, tell YouTube. Let them know, right? Let them know I want more of this. Subscribe, turn notifications, do all the things. If you don't like it, if you're like, the sound of her voice, thumbs down will help with that. I promise. Okay. Ooh. Traveling to diaspora says, I'm going on my second long bop in April. I plan to stay gone as long as possible. I'm working on my TESOL right now. I will teach English to adults for rent money. Okay. And a work visa. Love it. Hello, all. I have VA benefits, so I quit my job to make the move just days before we started talking about cutting VA retirement and flying out next month on a plane ticket and a prayer. You don't need anything else. A plane ticket and a prayer. Make it work. Getting community with people. You're gonna make it work. Okay, let's see. What y'all talking about? Rhonda, I didn't put too much. No, she's laughing. I didn't put too much of her business out there. She knows. I feel so seen, Kelly. I love y'all. And I'm a petty person. I love y'all. And I'm gonna talk about you. With love. Okay, Brittany needs the secrets. Brittany, my phone. I ain't got no woot woots from you on my phone, Brittany. Where are the woot woots? Ain't no woot woots on my phone, Brittany. I don't know how to be more subtle than that. My phone, the woot woots. Make it happen. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Okay, save and get out, get out. This is the response to Kyoko's question. Wanda Scott says it's easiest to pay off debt abroad. Amina says just leave and pay the minimum. Save to get out, get out. Now saving to get out and paying down debt abroad, that's what I'm doing. Black Girls Invest Too is a very responsible financial lady, a very responsible financial guru. Says you better not just abandon that debt over the long term. Yeah, we're not saying never pay the debt. I'm not even saying don't pay the loan, don't pay the minimum. I'm saying if you asked me this question 10 years ago, I would say equal it out, or I would say don't stress about the money for moving abroad yet. Pay down. I hate debt. The first thing I do when I have debt is pay it off. Every time I get paid, I'm like, how much money can I pay to whatever? Now my credit card, I don't carry a credit card balance, but I'm staying in hotels nonstop for 5 weeks this time, and I haven't used points. It's all credit cards. So there's a balance, but I'm like, there's money in my bank. How do I I don't like these numbers looking at me. That's me. I also no longer live in America, so I don't have to worry about saving to get out. Oh, Dion, you said get out? Interesting. Interesting coming from you. Okay, I'm done. Thank you. That might be the last time I do that to you today. Maybe not. We'll see. JG says, save and get out, because I used to be a bill collector. I used to collect on dead people, so save and leave. They don't get their money, right? The way these billionaires are moving, they'll probably be debtor's jail soon, so get out. They need more incarcerated bodies. Like, I'm laughing because it's so shocking to me. They need more incarcerated bodies, and I would not be surprised if debtors' jails and prisons came back soon. Does U.S. debt matter if you're not coming back? How do you know for sure you're not coming back, right? And it depends on what the debt is. Like, if it's taxes, you want that passport or not? If you want your passport to work, you got to pay your taxes. Or you're going to slide to the border one day, they're going to snatch it from you. Or you're going to enter another country's border, and they're going to be like, boop, 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 it says your passport was revoked. What you going to do? Go back to where you came from. So I don't want anyone to ever, any of you, for safety and security reasons, I don't ever want you to make your plan assuming you're never, ever, ever going to step foot in America again, because I don't think that's realistic, right? And so I wouldn't do things that would make it harder for you to go back to America or rebuild a life in America, in new America, second America, second United States of California, Oregon, maybe Nevada. No, not Nevada. I don't know. Maybe Washington. Like, I want you to be able to re-enter and if you want to build a life where your family is, if they stay through the coming times, I want you to be able to go back to them. And so debt does matter. Most places around the world aren't looking at your credit history in the US, but like Shar said, I think it was Shar that said, because she didn't have Portuguese credit history when she was looking at buying getting a mortgage, they were like, well, show us your US credit history. Show us a little something. I think that was Shar. I'm either making that up completely or that's something Shar has said in the past. So it can matter, right? Do you need to buy a property abroad? No. Should you buy a property abroad? It's not the right choice for a lot of people. It is for some people. Some people will really, really value owning real estate. And if you do, okay. But if you don't, it might never matter to you. Let's see. What are you talking about? Oh, okay. So Stephanie corrected me. It must be 7 days or longer. You can't get 3 days thingy. You can't do it on 3 days. It has to be 7 days or longer. I didn't know that about regularization. So if you come in, you have to ask for 7 days or more. Now, if you ask for 7 days, they might give you 20. So however long you're down there, you have to stay 1 extra day at least. And it has to be a business day so you can go to immigration. And you probably should use an expert. Stephanie is the expert on regularization now. I know nothing because I didn't do that. Okay, Adelia says, oh, you can hear the wind? Yeah, it's windy out here. It's 269 Mexican per day is the minimum wage. And the conversion rate generally right now is about 20 to 1. So it's about $13 a day. A day? Now, is everyone making minimum wage down there? No. Would you make minimum wage if you went down there? Maybe. Okay, so apparently you can't do 5 days. You need to do minimum 7 days. Ooh, just passing through says, I did the math at Exodus Summit 2023. Congratulations. Stopped shopping, built out my SUV so it's my home on wheels, and I'm moving into it this Saturday, March 1st, keeping my job but giving up my biggest bill so I can get free. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I love that. I love it for you. Christine says, if I'm afraid of not meeting the monetary requirements, she's talking about Mexico, should I come and get my residency from them in person? Is that possible? I can't go into all the requirements for regularization right now, but you need to have had entered Mexico at least once in the last, I want to say like 5 years. I don't know the exact number of years. I don't know the exact date off the top of my head. If you have, you can, you're generally eligible for the regularization program, and there are no monetary requirements for the regularization program because it was made for people who were in the country illegally, to become legal. So you don't have to meet any financial requirements. So if you think you're not going to meet them, it's a good way to do it. But if you can meet but it will only get you temporary residency. It'll get you 4 years of temporary residency, but it gives you temporary residency. If you think you can meet the permanent residency requirements and all the other requirements for permanent residency, which right now generally are age, I think like older than 55, they'll probably give it to you. But you also probably need some permanent income coming in, an income source like a pension, Social Security, something like that coming in as well. If you meet that and you meet the numbers, I would just do that and go straight to permanent residency. Like, share, and subscribe. Y'all do the Lord's work. I can see you. Is it safe to drive down to Mexico and store my car and belongings there? I'm not going to answer that question because it depends on where in Mexico, where in Mexico, when in Mexico, who you're doing, what you're doing. There are too many things. There are good groups called On the Road in Mexico is a Facebook group for people who drive into Mexico, and they do a lot of talking in that group about the experience of driving down. I've never done it, so I can't speak to it. I have absolutely no interest in doing it. And if you ask me, I would try to talk you out of it. But you didn't say, should I do it? You said, is it safe? And that depends on the route you take, where you're going. On the Road in Mexico on Facebook is a good group for that. I don't have the answer. D says, it's safe to drive to Mexico. I don't know about storing your car and things there. Oh, yes. Okay. Advent Child says, I want to thank you for taking the time to have these and share information. You're welcome. I'm glad this helped. Okay, you don't know how much this helps my mental health. My husband is on board with opening this next chapter. Yes, for all of you. For all of you. Start the next chapter. And if your partner won't, you know what I'm going to say. I told a woman last night, she said, I moved here 10 years ago with my husband. And I was like, have you left him yet? And she didn't. She was like, what do you... We were only supposed to be here for 3 years. And I was like, well, have you left? She didn't like it or get it. If your partner's not on board, if your partner's not making the moves you're making, if your partner's a man, go on ahead. Do yourself a favor. Lighten the load. If you love them, I also told her to leave her kids behind because I'm a terrorist. Fathers in the home. That man can take care of them kids. Y'all want to be patriarch so bad? Go patriarch something. Go. Anyhow, I'm only half kidding. I didn't, when I said debtors' prisons, I hadn't seen Adelia say debtors' prisons, but yes, Adelia and I are always right here. Yes. They need incarcerated bodies. Don't let them catch you slipping. Let's see. What? Y'all, there are like 3 comments in a row calling me shady, and I don't know what specific shade we're talking about. I'm just making stuff up. And what is our country? Debtor's jail is diabolical. Who would do that? Your president? that foreigner they got in the White House running around with his children, using them as a shield so he don't get shot in the head. Don't shoot me, shoot my baby. Don't shoot me, shoot one of my 74 kids. Put them around my neck to protect me. I can always make another kid. That man, I know he's like, I can always make another kid. It's only one me. It's 1,000 of you, of his children. Aisha reminded me I did not do my disclaimer. Nothing said here is financial advice. I'm a lawyer, but I'm not your lawyer. In fact, I'm no one's lawyer. I love that for me. Oh, Chrissy Hardy just got her husband on board. You don't have to leave him. I'm so happy for you. My daughter will be part of a probationary cuts from the government. I said her sell her house and bring her with us to travel the world. That's amazing. I'm so sorry for your daughter. And I hope the country burns quickly. I'm serious. There's no fixing. There's no, like, I don't think there's a fix for where we are right now. I think it has to crumble and get rebuilt. And I know that's like chaos. I know that's crazy. And I know there's a very good chance that the wrong side will win if something like that happens. But how do we fix where we are right now? Where is the coup? Where we cooing all around the world. What about us? Who gonna come and come get us? Nope, nobody. Okay. All right. Sorry. All right. What y'all talking about? Rhonda Talbert says, is it necessary to have a pension or will monthly income suffice? If you're talking about permanent residency in Mexico, if you have monthly income, if you work, they're going to want to see that some proof that you can work remotely, like your offer letter. And if your offer is very old, depending on where you go, they might want a new letter from your employer saying you'll be able to work remotely the entire time you're in Mexico. And you'll continue to be able to employed by that company the entire time you're in Mexico, which your employer is not going to say. So for residency, if you have a pension that meets the requirements, I won't even mention a job. You did not hear me say it. Anyone who should not have heard me say that did not hear me say that. But being perfectly transparent, the people who are generally having a harder time right now are people who are doing residency through financial solvency, through monthly income. Because if you work for yourself, they're like, nah, how do we prove what is going? Monthly income is it's not impossible. People are doing it every day. It's not impossible. You just might have to finesse who you're talking. It depends on who you're talking to, what kind of day they had, what kind of yesterday they had, what kind of tomorrow they're going to have. They think they're going to have. Nothing. It's on paper. Monthly income is fine if you meet the monthly requirement. In real life, depends on a whole bunch of factors that you have no control over. Bright Star, I'm terrified of having my passport revoked. Can we get citizenship in other countries so we don't have to come back for a few years? Can we get a bank in other countries to save for emergency? You can do. When you say terrified, I want us to back out a little bit and say, like, what is the reasonable basis for this fear? I think when we start revoking passports, I'm not going to be the first person it happens to, but am I going to be on the list when they get rid of the first wave? Am I going to be in the second wave? There's a great chance, right? Because I was not born in the country. I was naturalized. I'm also a Black woman, right? So for me, I personally need to get citizenship somewhere else so that if my passport is revoked, pre-coup, I will not be a stateless individual. I'm not terrified of it happening, but I'm making a plan in case it happens. And that's why I see terrified and I want to know why? Like, is there a reasonable basis for your fear? Or are you making today harder for yourself based on potential tomorrow problems? Right? Today does not need to include terror. Unless it does, because you have there's a very valid reason for you personally this is going to happen. Can you get a bank in another country? Yeah, lots of countries will let you put their money there. Is it safe? I don't know. Could something happen? I don't know. Something could happen in the US because they're trying to get rid of the FDIC. And all them banks just gonna take our money and be like, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened to your money. Um, you can get another bank safe emergency. Portugal, I'm not suggesting this. I'm saying that at this point, factually, in order to get residency in Portugal, you need a bank account. You need to have already opened a bank account in Portugal to get residency in Portugal. So you don't need to be a resident, right? Because it happens before you get residency. You don't need to be a resident to get a bank in Portugal. What are the requirements? I don't know. I can't speak to them. Most places aren't going to require you to be a citizen in another country. And when you say, can we get citizenship in other countries? If there's a very good chance of you getting, if you are front line of getting your passport revoked, there probably is another country you can get citizenship in, because by the reason your passport might be revoked is because you have ties to another country, right? My passport might be revoked because I was not born in America. And because I was not born in America, I can get citizenship somewhere else. Because no one, my parents weren't born in America, and they weren't born in the country I was born in. I can get citizenship in a number of different countries, right? My passport might be revoked. But you can also get residency and not come back for a few years. You don't have to go all the way to citizenship to not come back if your only concern is not coming back to the US for a few years. You can do that with residency. You can also do that without residency and just bop around to different countries for a time. Residency gives you a place to land and spend some time, right? Where you don't have to leave based on how long your visa is for the country is. But you don't need to go as far as citizenship unless there is a value, you know what I mean? Like you're right. Or you're just planning ahead. I'm not saying don't go as far as citizenship. I'm saying that terror is probably, I don't know you. I don't know your situation. It might be too soon for terror. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. So Panama and the USA are quite tightly enmeshed in some reasons, in some ways. And so in Panama, they want to see your US credit report. So let's see. What are we talking about? JG said, anybody can get it. Anybody can get left. Yes, I appreciate that. Okay, so I feel like y'all have a club behind my back and y'all are saying things. Because why would you call me a menace? Because Stephanie calls me a menace, so I feel like you were talking to her. I encourage people to do what's best for themselves and occasionally what's best for me. And we're going to stop using the word menace. Stephanie be like, you be menacing people. And I'm like, I'm not. You're a menace. I'm not. But did I get you what you wanted? We were at dinner the other day at the Four Seasons. And when the check came, he brought the pen, and the pen was really nice and weighty, one of those pens. So I was like, okay, how do I get it? I was like, can I keep your pen? He said, yeah. He just looked at me, and I was like, no, really, can I keep the pen? He been using, it's a little scratched up. And he was like, yes. I said, can we all get pens? I said, yes. And he was like, He walked away. He came back with pens, brand new pens for everybody. It still have that little plastic thing on the tip. My menacing, my encouraging, I encouraged him to treat his customers well. Everybody got a new fancy Four Seasons pen. I've never stayed at the Four Seasons, but I've eaten there and I have their pen. So I do this for everybody. For everybody. So let's see. What y'all talking about? Oh, I realized that I had the money to leave now from Exit Summit 2024. Rashida and Stephanie are doing the Lord's work. We're doing the work for you. We're doing the work for you. Yes. All right. Scrolling real quick through these comments because y'all been talking. Let's see. What are y'all? Okay, I'm still going. Okay, Juan DeBryan. I love when y'all know things that I don't know. You could open a bank account in Portugal with just $250. I work with SGP firm to do my NIF and bank account. My NIF, I think. It's NIF, not NIF, right? Whatever. $250, you can open a bank account. Now, opening a bank account to just have $250 in it probably isn't what you want to do, but I would actually look and see what kind of protections there are. On any country you're thinking about opening a bank account in, I would look and see, are there any protections for your money, and where do the protections end, right? Like how much money is protected. Y'all talking. Let's see what y'all talking about. I encourage people to do what's right for them. And it was right for that waiter to give us all of us. She ain't said no to the pen, but she want to talk about me. I think he had to go to his boss and be like, they out there acting up. But we were also the last people in the restaurant. I think they want to get rid of us. I think they would have given us plates, cups, forks, just to get us to go. We were the last table out. We're enjoying ourselves. It's a beautiful night. Food is amazing. Can I have some chopsticks? They would have given us anything to get it. Y'all still here? Okay. EU banks are insured up to euro 100,000. Y'all be knowing things. And I appreciate that. Knowing things. I do not know these things. I don't have to know these things because in community, we know things together. Yes. Okay. Oh, Nisha, I did not see Kyoko's message. So whatever. All right. So we're going to see more people trying to leave the country. We're going to see more talk about escaping the US. And we're going to see more people trying to escape the US without a plan. A lot of Americans, not you. First of all, not you, because you're probably a Black woman if you're watching this and you know better. You know this is not the case. But also not you because you're here and we do this and we talk and we're in community. But a lot of Americans think that anywhere they go in the world, they should be welcomed. They will be welcomed and they should be able to stay because they have more money than the people in that country. And so they should, I say this because I see this in the groups, these countries should welcome them. They should want them there spending their money. That's not you. Because even if you have that blue American passport, the blue UK passport's blue, right? Whatever, you're still a Black woman. And you know when you get to the borders, you're still showing up as a Black woman. But also, you know, these places have rules. You don't get just to show up and stay because you're American. They be in the Mexico groups talking about that. I can't believe it's getting harder to be down there. They should when, especially when there was a while where every American was just getting 180 days, every American Canadian 180 days on their for the visa, and then they stopped that. They started giving them shorter periods, and the snowbirds who've been, I come down there every winter for 20 years, and yet you haven't gotten yourself residency. They were like, I can't believe they don't want us in there. I can't, they should want us spending our money. They can't believe they're putting requirements on us to come down. Don't be at the border acting up. Don't let me see you online talking about, I can't believe they don't just open their arms and say, come on down, whatever you want, no rules for you. You're Black. And if you're not Black, don't be an asshole. Like, you know what I mean? It sounds crazy to say that. But Black women here aren't going to do that, because we've never had the privilege of doing that anywhere in the world. If you're watching this and you're not a Black person, if you've made it this far, you probably already are on board, and you're not going to walk around the world being ugly like that. But when I see y'all in groups talking about, I can't believe they're stopping me from coming down and spending all the time I want. I have money and they should be grateful for my presence. You sound stupid. Just stupid. Don't do that. Don't do that. So, yeah. Oh, you're going to do great things. You're going to do great things. I believe in you. Great, great things. You're just not going to be a jerk on learning. You're not going to be a jerk when the immigration agent gives you a number of days. That's how. If the immigration agent at wherever you're going gives you a number of days, I want you to look at that before you leave the immigration, especially for Mexico, if they can give you different numbers. I want you to look at that before you leave their desk. How much you got? When do I need to leave the country? Boop, 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 boop. If you don't like the number, you got to deal with it there. The way to deal with that is not staying longer. All the time in these Mexico groups, there are people like, I just looked at my visa and it says I had 30 days, but I want to be here another month. That's fine, right? I mean, until they snatch you off a bus and now you're in immigration jail. Don't be like that. Don't do it like that. Okay. I feel like we've talked about this. I feel like we're good. Are we good? Are we good? I see some one-off questions I can't really answer right now because they're not real general questions. So I want you to escape, but I want you to escape with a plan, right? I want you to escape with a plan, which means plan now. Plan now, right? Don't wait until you're like, oh, my safety, my livelihood, my personhood is in danger, and now I must flee. Right? Escapism isn't bad. But if you do it without a plan, it could be bad for you. So we're planning ahead. Pick a country, visit, see what it's like, see whether you like it. If you haven't picked a country yet, hold please. Hello. Yes. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Yes. Robinson, yes? Yes. Okay. I'm in the middle of something right now. Can I talk to you about that later? If any of them come, please give them a key and I'll work out the details with you later, okay? Thank you. At 1:30, you said? Okay, I'll be here. Thank you. Bye. I'm moving from a suite to a villa today. And they were calling about my villa, but they're also like being difficult about something, which I have to actually talk about, but you don't want to hear me talk about that right now. No, I already got the room upgrade. I already got the room upgrade. But to the villa. But I'm not in conversation with the person I need to be in conversation with. He need to bring his butt to the front desk so I can talk to him. Because now the other employee is saying something else, and we're not doing that. I'm not talking to you about this, lady. All right, so let me show you guys outside. Yes, that is not Rashida asking. I've already menaced my way into a villa, a 3-bedroom villa with 2 of my homies. I menaced that man so bad that he was like, the manager at the front desk was like, it's my first week here. Can you just say yes to what he was offering? Can you just say yes? It's my first week here. And I was like, I guess. And what he was offering was the villa. All right, let me show you. It's not as bad as it was this morning, and it's hard to see because of whatever. But this is the hotel. This is my wall. Those are the waves out there. The waves were a little higher, like there was more crest. Is that what it is? There was more crest to them earlier. You can see they're very wavy. It was blue and pretty for a few days, but now it's not. Yeah, no, that's not as bad as it was earlier today and yesterday. Remember when you could hear the wind? When you could hear the wind, the waves are worse. I could see the trees acting up, but very wavy. I think the crest is the height, right? The height was higher. In Da Nang, that height was high, and they had people like little kids at the edge of the water. I was like, I don't even have kids. But that feels like, I don't know. The tide came in so quickly, it really was like, hold on to your children. Why are they at the edge of the boat? The tide came, like it was far back, and then it was right up on the lake, right up on us. I was like, why is your toddler not walking? They're toddling, not walking. Why is your toddler that close to the water and you're not in sight? I'm not judging your parenting. I just want you to put a leash on that child. Come on. Anyway, I have slept so good here. I have slept, okay, since I've checked into this hotel on the water, I've slept the best that I've slept in a long time. These beds are also extremely comfortable. Extremely comfortable. And my bowel movements have been exceptional. I don't know if it's the food. I don't know if it's the relaxation. I don't know if it's the waves in my mind relaxing me. 2 things. I'm sleeping good. I'm pooping good. You didn't need to know all that. But I'm telling you. Oh, Penny, this is not a storm. This is just literally like, this is I think like if you get a sunny day with crazy waves or you get a rainy day with crazy waves. And it's just like this all the time. Y'all know you want to hear about my bowel movements. Excellent. Excellent. Sleep, food, coming in, going out. Excellent. It's been great. Stephanie says, I'm so glad you're enjoying Vietnam. She menaced me into coming. It's been good. Being in Hoi An has been good. Visiting Da Nang was good. Being with the Exodus Summit ladies, there are about 80 of us here. It's been good. Am I sure there's not a hurricane coming? Yes, this is just what it is out here. It's just what it is. A few days of rain, no hurricane. But being in community with women who choose themselves is so amazing. So many women are like, I came here just to be in community with other women who think like me, right? Being in community with women who choose themselves when the world makes it really, really hard to choose yourself is amazing. Amazing. Is this going to be an annual trip? Y'all, I don't. As much as it may not seem it, Stephanie and I aren't real. Stephanie is a much better planner or header than I am for big things, like a trip like this. I'm not sure where I'm going to be next. No, in 2 weeks. I planned my year through March. So I know where I plan on being through March, but then a wrinkle came up, so I might even change that. I don't know. I don't know. But I don't annual. Like next year, I know nothing. It's about it starts Monday. I know nothing. D.L. Ross says, I went to Halong Bay, which I haven't been to, and stayed in a hotel was sweet, moved to a villa on the beach, and it was wonderful. We got scooters to ride around on and had a villa. Our villa had a pool. We were right on the beach. That's why I asked to move back, because I stayed in a villa with Stephanie when I first got here, and the villa had a private pool. And when I had to leave that villa, I was like, no, I need a private pool. The guy was like, the hotel has a pool right there. And I was like, no. How do we get me back into a private pool? Mind your businesses. I'll be in Da Nang on March 7th for at least a month. Beautiful. You're going to love it. Will I get back to Fiji while I'm on that side of the world? Not this time. Because me in Fiji requires a little bit more money than me in Hoi An. A little more. But Hoi An is picking my pockets with all the stuff I have made. Now it's all like silk, leather, some linens, right? It's all, but a lot of money going out. A lot of things coming in, a lot of money going out. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Did I do what I needed to do here? I think I did. I think we're done. Any handsome men out there? We all define handsome differently. Okay, bye. This was fun, y'all. Okay, wait. Kicking It with Kim says, choosing myself at 47 years old and coming to Hawaiian to be in community and also to be alone and learn myself has been liberating. Thank you, ladies. Hey, Kim. It was great to see you last night. It's been amazing. Okay. Oh, so that's right. The screen didn't freeze. I just had to think about the men I've seen. Anyway, you guys go have a good night. It is late where you are, probably. It is early where we are. I'm going to pack up so I can move to the villa and they can argue with me about. They gave me a 3-bedroom villa, but then said I only paid for 2 people in the room. So blah, blah, blah. It's a 3-bedroom villa. It has at least 4 beds. We're not going to argue over petty shit like this. The number of people who I paid. We gave you the free upgrade to the villa, but there are only supposed to be 2 people in your room. When my man comes back to the front desk, see, this is when you're my man, when I need you for something. When he comes back to the front desk, we're going to handle this because I'm not doing this with you, lady. I made an agreement with that man on the upgrade. We're not 2 or 3 people. You only paid for 2 people and the upgrade was free, but the third person. I don't want to have to be a menace to you, lady. But I had an agreement with that man, and we're going to do what we agreed. And if we have to pause until he gets here, we're going to pause until he gets here. And my man at the front desk, we had a plan. All right. Shannon, welcome to the membership. We get together usually after live streams, but because this is a nighttime live stream for y'all, we're not going to get together today. We probably won't get together until I'm back in Mexico, but love y'all. We'll talk to you later. Not the petty nickel and diamond. It's one extra person. In a 3-bedroom villa, how many people is too many to stay there without paying you more money? Don't play with me. Don't play with me. Anyway, we'll see y'all later. Packing up to move to a new room. I'm going to go out, I think, brave into the world to go to my leather person and my clothes person because I have some stuff I need to pick up and look at today. Some more money I need to give people. They all want money for their goods and services. They all want, in exchange for leather goods, they want actual money. And it confuses me. Why? Why? Ew. Anyway, I'm gonna go. Some of the shops here are really, really great, and I've had a great time in them. So it's fun. I see you, DL Ross. I'm trying to laugh at that comment. I will talk to you guys later. You guys have a great day or a great night. Sleep really well, poop really great in the morning, and I will catch y'all next week. I'll be in Singapore next week. So the weather, maybe, I don't know. I'm not even guessing at the weather. Ooh, Ron, do you want to go pay some people with me? Let's go pay people for things. Let's go do that. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.